Alright, y'all. This is actually take 2 of this. I forgot to mention this is going to be a video game vlog because I got my Stars jacket on and stuff. So, we're gonna talk about Resident Evil. I did this with Metal Gear, how the rise and fall of Metal Gear in my little happy brain. So I'm gonna do this now with Resident Evil. And what inspired me to do this was last night literally before I went to bed, somebody on Twitter had asked, what would you like to see Capcom announce Resident Evil 3 remake, or would you like to see them announce for Resident Evil 8? And this is what I sent the person. This is what I said on this. Personally, I would like them to do the 8th game, then maybe swing back to the 3rd game. So I immediately countered this because that was the answer to a question that somebody on Twitter posted. I immediately countered this on my own Twitter by saying, this is probably the most dishonest answer I have ever stated, which is extremely true. I really don't want an RE3 remake. Capcom has proven they can do a good RE game. Just build on what you have. See? Hold on. It's so bright. And I took it down. Yeah. So, that's what I said. So, okay. So, with that being stated, let me go into this real quick and then I'll give you the history of me and Resident Evil. So, as much as Resident Evil 3 is actually... Most people don't like Resident Evil 3. It's actually one of my favorite Resident Evils. I got Resident Evil 3, I do believe, for my birthday, as either early or late birthday, or like it was around my birthday, because I think Resident Evil 3 came out in the US around my birthday. I think it came out in January. And I was so stoked to get it. And I got it, and I had been hearing about it. It was like all this news, like, oh, there's gonna be a monster that constantly chases you through levels and boards and stuff. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be fucking scary. And I think at that time my brother wasn't living with us anymore, so I had to pretty much play that by myself. So in reading that there's gonna be a monster that chases you through levels, then you never know what's gonna happen, plus you gotta make instantaneous decisions. And I loved all of that, and I was just like, oh my god, I can't wait till this comes out. And then when I got it and it gave me fucking nightmares. I told the story on Twitter recently that I had one nightmare, and I remembered it so vividly, that Nemesis was chasing me around my parents' house in Philadelphia, and I jumped out of their bedroom window to escape him, and he's like in the window shaking his fist at me. And that was when I woke up, when he was shaking his fist at me. I was like, oh dear God, I can't play this till I get cheat codes. Lo and behold, I think a day or two later, cheat codes for Nemesis came out. And I happily played this shit with cheat codes, because I was like, and the best cheat code in the fucking universe was one hit kills all. So after I got that code, you bet your ass I put that cheat code in and worked with that cheat code and was so happy. The only problem was it only worked for Jill. When you had to do that Carlos going through the hospital, aka fucking Hunter Town, it didn't work. So that fucked me over, and I was like, the fuck? So it was a mess. I hated that part. I hate going through that hospital. I already don't like hunters, and then you took my fucking cheat codes from me. Now I gotta play this shit al dente on hunters. Fuck this. I was not amused with that. Oh, and you had to run from Nemi after you come out of that hospital, because that's when he like whips the wall and comes busting through the wall, and you gotta get to Jill before Nemesis does. I can't with that part. I can't with that whole part. So, but I love Resident Evil 3 is one of my all-time. It's actually my favorite of the Resident Evil games. I know a lot of people disagree. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I know a lot of people thought it was silly. It is my baby. I love RE3. So, I understand they're going to do a great job redoing that when they redo it. Because Mr. X was fucked up. I don't like Mr. X. Mr. X was fucking horrifying. And that was for me, some of the most tenuous parts of Resident Evil 2 remake. It's the stuff with Mr. X come busting through. It's just like him plomp, plomp through the police station. It's just like, fuck this. So, I ain't like the part, but I know they're going to make that. they're gonna expand on that idea when it comes to Nemesis. It's just gonna be Nemesis Warbond. That's what they should have him say, not stars. It should be Warbond. So they should have him like plopping around like Warbond, like, oh shit, let me not get the fuck out of here. So, but let me give you a little story of my background and my history with Resident Evil. So in 2000, I want to say 4 or 5, my brother had the first PlayStation, the very first PS1. He had a PS1, and he discovered through some friends that you can play Japanese PlayStation games on a very, very first generation PlayStation 1. It required a spring and some other shit, and that was how we were playing import games. So my brother had the import game Dark Stalkers. So on the original Japanese Darkstalkers game disc, there was a trailer for Resident Evil. It was called Biohazard, as we all know in Japan. And me and my brother and my best friend, we were all like, the fuck is this? Ooh, this game look cool. And we all collectively thought, we never gonna see this fucking game. This game is never gonna see the light of day in the United States. We'll just have to look at these trailers and wonder what could have been, what will never be, and be sad. Lo and behold, a year later, my best friend was getting PSM, which was the best game magazine in the world, probably next to Nintendo Power, but whatever. She got a PSM and she's like, Adrian, oh my god, they're bringing a game that your brother had the trailer for out. And I was like, what game? And she showed it to me. I was like, we were like, oh shit, we have to get this and play this. And my brother was like, yeah, we'll get it, we'll play it, it'll be great. So my brother indeed in 1996 got Resident Evil, and we, all three of us, were collectively fucking hooked. That was I was so hooked, that was my very first foray into writing fan fiction. My very first published fan fiction, not one that just sat in my brain and did nothing, was the retelling of Resident Evil. So I was hooked. I fangirl fucking married Wesker. That was when I was like 18. I was like, I'm going to be, me and Wesker getting fan married, and this is how it's going to be. That's why I don't be trusting these other skanks coming around talking about, oh, I love Wesker. Bitch, where were you in 1996? Oh, you weren't fucking born? Then you need to take a fucking hike. Bye. I am the original Wesker fangirl, so fuck y'all. How about some of that? But crazy fangirlness aside, I was the first hardcore Wesker bitch, so there is that. But I was in love with Resident Evil. Me and my best friend, as my parents would probably tell you if they were sitting right in this room right now, yep, she and her best friend used to play that and be scared and be screaming, and we'd be downstairs listening to them scared and screaming, like, why are they playing this if they're scared and screaming? Cause it's fun being pretend scared. Like, it was just fun. Then I would get on CompuServe. Yes, I am that old. Get on CompuServe and start talking trash to fans of Resident Evil. I talk trash to this boy who loved Chris. I have been arguing with Chris fans for over 20 years. This is what my life looks like. So this boy was like, no, we love Chris. Chris was like, live. And I was like, Chris can't pick a lock. He can't pick a nose. What good is Chris? And he's like, yeah, that's true. He can't pick a lock. And at the time, it was right before Resident Evil 2 came out. And as me and this boy are going back and forth, he was like, well, what do you think about the Ada character? And I'm like, I think the Ada character probably has something to do with that one little weird note that you pick up in the lab where the dude's girlfriend's name was Ada. And I was right. It was a wild fucking guess, but I actually hit the nail on the head. I was so impressed with my nerd skills. So Resident Evil 2 came out. My best friend, that's her favorite Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 2. And she loved Leon. I like Leon. But like I said before, I like my Leon being a hapless idiot, not like he is now, all snarky and sarcastic and what the fuck ever. And yeah, we loved it. We played that. It's some footage. It's like no talking, but it's actual video. It's on a VHS tape. I am that old. There's a VHS tape of me having played Resident Evil 2, but I was cheating. So I had to go through Claire. I did Claire A, Leon B, and I had never done Claire A before. So there's like this one part where you're about to, the first time you're, not the first time you're playing as Sherry, the second time you're playing as Sherry, and the cheat codes didn't work for her either. But it was like I had to go some way, and I had never seen that part before, and it's on pause for between 10 and 15 minutes while my best friend fucking sock puppet explains to me what the fuck way I'm supposed to go, because I keep asking her repeatedly, and she had to sit and like basically break out the sock puppets for me to get it, but I got it, and it was fun. So I have footage of me playing Resident Evil, but you can't hear a crazy commentary because that kind of didn't exist at that point in history. So you heard my Resident Evil 3 story. I kind of ish played Resident Evil 4. I played it for like a split second in the middle of the GameStop that either is or used to be in King of Prussia Mall in like the Philadelphia area, and I got freaked out by the very first part because it was the demo that was up at that GameStop, and the guy had the axe, and he was like swinging at me, and I let out this ear-piercing loud scream, and nobody fucking stopped in the store. Everybody just kept going about their business, even though I let out this ear-piercing scream as I'm getting attacked. After that, I was like, fuck this. I put the game on pause and just left it there because I was like, I can't with no cheat codes. And then that was when they kind of effectively stopped having cheat codes, so I couldn't cheat anymore. And I can't play horror games without cheat codes because I just get too fucked up on them. So that was actually the last Resident Evil I played was Code Veronica, and I got through Code Veronica. I was so happy to see they brought Wesker back because I had missed his ass from Resident Evil 1, and then like the remake of Resident Evil came out, and the first game came out, and I knew I couldn't play that. Fuck them Crimson. It's got Crimson Heads and Hunters. No fucking way without a cheat code. Am I touching that with a 10-foot fucking pole? Because I'm not trying to get fucked up on that stuff. So, yeah, the last Resident Evil game I actually physically played was Code Veronica, because that was the last time I had fucking cheat codes in my life. So, from basically Code Veronica, like 1, 2, 3, Code Veronica was what I actually played. 4, fuck 5, 5, fuck 6, 6, 7 was good. Remake and remake of 2. That's 6 games I have not played. Not to mention the side stories with everybody on a boat or whatever the fuck, and like Alex Wesker, them side stories. I'm not playing them. I actually play Resident Evil Survivor. So, yeah, I actually played that too. I forgot about that. I think everybody tried to forget about that. But I have had a long-standing history with Resident Evil. And I threw it aside for a while for Metal Gear. And I regret throwing it aside. But Konami is we don't even talk about Konami no more. They so fucked up. We can't even talk about them. So, but I came back to Resident Evil because it was like the kind of like the only game in town, AAA horror wise. Like, it took me a long time to get acclimated to actually watching indie games. So, and now that I'm acclimated, I like them. A lot of them are like surprisingly good, and I kind of have taken a liking to some of them. Some of them are kind of like, why? But for the most part, Resident Evil has been like the kind of the only AAA going on. I mean, yeah, you have like The Last of Us is a horror game technically. Outlast is a horror game. So, but they don't come around as often as Resident Evil does. So, it was kind of like I didn't really have kind of much of a choice if I wanted to keep my toe in the AAA title market. So, and I know it seems kind of strange, like, well, why are you talking about this if you don't play them? Because I still like them, even though I can't play them. So, for me, I really don't like the idea of remakes, first of all, because you already have an established canon. And what they did with the canon yeah, they kept it where Sherry was infected and blah, blah, blah. But like how they got there changed the canon, and I didn't necessarily like how they got there. I really kind of didn't like that Ada was fake with the FBI. She was fucking working for Wesker. Where the fuck is this fake ass FBI shit coming in? I didn't necessarily think that jived well. So I'm not saying you had to keep everything 100% the same. You can take liberties. You were within your right to take liberties, but the liberties that they took, I just thought were kind of unnecessary. So I don't know. So I'm really kind of opposed to remakes because it's what Disney's doing right now, and nobody respects Disney for this. I'm going to say it. I know there's a lot of people that I know that live, eat, sleep, drink Disney all day. That is wonderful, but can you really honestly respect a company that they live on a remake? I mean, granted, their entire catalog pretty much has been a fucking remake, but I'm saying no. Can you really respect that? I don't think I can. I mean, if you can, that's fine, but I don't respect it. So, and like I said on Twitter, they've proven that they can do stuff without Shinji. Granted, they still don't write good roles for women, but what are you going to do? So, I can't. Hold on. I have some hair in my mouth. Hold on, it's from this dog sitting on my bed. Hold up. Sorry about that, but yeah. So I would rather them expand on what they have. I would rather see a Resident Evil 8 come out. I don't know what 8 would look like. I really don't know what. I can't give input as to what I would love to see. The only input that I would truly love to see, that is, since they said Umbrella Corps was canon to the story, I want to see Wesker come back in full awful evil glory, and I want to see him meet Jake and him tell Jake in his own Weskery way, "You are not my only bastard." I would pay so much money for that. I would actually fucking buy that game, knowing full damn well I wasn't gonna play it, just so I could say I own the game where Wesker tells his son that he was not his only bastard child. I would, oh my god. Oh, that would please me to no damn end. So, yeah, that's the story of me and Resident Evil. Funnily enough, yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. I watched some guy kind of elaborate on how he felt about Resident Evil 2. And he was like, one of the things Shinji, the original creator, wanted was people to kind of like, he kind of played on people's fight or flight response, which is actually kind of cool. And like, you were supposed to learn how to play the game and not kind of be spoon fed into how to play the game. And he was like, that's the things that he really, really missed about the remake, that it just felt like, he said, one of the things that I really took from it was he said that he tried to kill all the zombies in the jail cells because he knew it was going to come a point where they would bust out of the jail cells and be a problem. So he took them out, and he was like, even though it cost me like all my ammo, I took them all out. In the cutscene that follows that, after I can't remember what happens, all the zombies come back in, and there's more zombies, and there's Mr. X in your face. And he was like, he felt like he was penalized for taking a proactive stance against the monsters that were there, and then they just flood all these extra monsters in with Mr. X. And he was like, that just felt like such a cop-out, and the old game wouldn't have did that. And he was like, I don't know why games do that now. And it's like, it's not so much fearful, but you're being handheld through everything. And I'm just like, this is a generational gamer thing. If you played the original games, and Shinji did rely heavily on what is called the fear, i.e. playing on people's fight or flight response, people don't play games like that anymore. You're talking to, when it comes to like 20-year-olds and younger, this is the generation of the tutorial part. You weren't just handed a controller and thrown into the foray of figure it the fuck out how you going to get out of this. So, and that's how my generation played games. We were just handed the controls, like, figure it the fuck out. So if you wanted to, you could look in the book and like see like how the controls and stuff worked, but the rest of it, figure it the fuck out. And even if you don't have like the tutorial level, you have YouTube things telling you where to go and like all this stuff. And it's not just figure it out. You and being having to and mandatorily having to do a I forget what I just said it too. A tutorial, my fault. Having to do a tutorial, mandatorily having to do a tutorial thing. It's just, I hate tutorial sequences. It's like, I just want to figure it out on my own. I can't do that. You have to teach me how to play. Fine, I guess. I think they do a disservice because I like figuring out where to go, what to do, and how to do it on my own. Yes, and you're talking to a woman who has used cheat codes to play games, but that's just to suck the fear out of it, because I get so wound up that I'm like thinking I'm in, well, not thinking, but my fight or flight response is literally, I'm in this situation. I don't like being in this situation. I need to fuck out of this situation. And that I get so scared that I'm like in the situation with people. And it's a mess. So, but that's like a generational thing. And he was like, I don't understand why this was like this. And I wanted it to be more like the original in that way. Not so much just the fixed camera angle. So generational divide, sorry, it happens. That's part of the reason why I'm like, I'll probably like whatever Capcom decides to do. It's just never ever again going to be for me, per se. I'll like it, but it won't be for me. It won't even be something like, damn, I wish I had cheat codes to play this, because I still have yet to feel that way. Even about the Big Uncle Zeke story, I didn't feel like, just watching it, I felt fine with just watching it. It's not one of those things, maybe I could suppress my fear for a little bit to play, or maybe I could like coax my husband into wanting to play. It's not been any of that. So, and I even kind of got that a little bit with The Evil Within, even though I know that has an ambiguous relationship with a lot of people. I still feel like I want to play that game, even though I know there's no fucking way in hell I'll ever be able to play it because it's too goddamn scary for me. So, but that's a story for another day. So that is me and my relationship, my long in and out, here and there, love you, hate you relationship with Resident Evil. Currently, I love Resident Evil again, and I'm going to be on this pony for a while till something else can truly usurp it. So I don't even fucking know. But this is where it is at present, so we all just fucking stuck with it. So that is all I have for now, and I will see y'all at a later date. All right? Later!